As we watch Hurricane Helene unfold and make its way across the South, we realize we were not as prepared for an emergency as we'd like to be.
Millions of people lost their cellular connection and were unable to contact friends, family, or emergency services. We even had a friend who couldn't talk to their son for days.
This is not the only time the connection has been severed. The ice storm that swept through Texas a few years ago had people without the ability to call family or emergency services. And of course, there have been a ton of random cellular outages.
So we thought it was time we did some research to figure out a way for us and the kids to stay connected during an emergency. And this is what we've come up with as our solution to always stay connected. Before we dive in, we want you to know this video is not sponsored at all.
Nope, we bought it all with our own money for us and our kids. And we wanted to talk about these items so that you could learn about them as well and then make your own decisions.
That's right. There are a ton of different brands on the internet to do exactly what we're going to show you today. These are just the ones that we landed on.
Get the wheels in motion. That's
right.
What we want to do.
So the goal is to stay connected at all costs during an emergency and to be able to call emergency services. And when your cell phone is out, most of us don't have a house phone, especially if you're like us and live full-time in an RV. So the goal is, what's next? Satellite.
Do people still have house phones?
I think some.
Okay.
Not a lot.
Okay.
There are some out there.
Call us if you have a house phone.
Yeah. All right. So the goal is satellite. So that is the only way we have left to stay connected. And we did not get a satellite phone. We got something better.
We got a satellite communicator, which is the Garmin InReach Mini 2.
With GPS.
The reason we got this one is its size. I mean, it is a super small device. You can throw it in your purse, you can throw it in your backpack, clip it onto your belt, whatever, and you have comms right here.
And we are going to probably end up using this more than just in emergency situations. This is also great because of the GPS if you're going off grid, if you're going on a hike in the middle of nowhere. As we all know, a lot of the great hikes that we go on, there's no cell service anywhere. So anywhere in Yosemite or Yellowstone or anything like that, if you get into a predicament, get lost, which people do all the time, this is going to help you be found.
Well, even better if you go out on your own. This has saved text that you could send to a friend to say, I'm starting my hike.
Yes.
Boom. Now they know you've gone on a hike. And then it has, you could set up intervals to say, I'm good, all's well, I stopped for a break or whatever. And you can tell them along the way where you are.
And not only that, you can set it up for a timed GPS location to be sent to your friends. So say I'm hiking by myself without Phil, which he never lets me do, although I do want to. But anyway, let's say I did. Every 10 minutes, it would send him my location via GPS. So he'll know exactly my progress, make sure I'm not in the same location for 2 instances, meaning I might have fallen and broken my leg, and then he would know there was trouble.
Well, if you fell and broke your leg, you could tell me.
Well, that's true. I could send you a text.
But it is good for that instance, so every 10 minutes it'll send out an update, because if you fall and you hit your head and you can't do that, it'll automatically do that.
You already know that it can send text messages, but you can actually send those via your phone because there is a Bluetooth app that's connected, so you can actually set all of this up via your phone app instead of trying to hit these little buttons on here.
Yeah, it would be on the Garmin Messenger app that you'll have to download to your phone. And I walked through it the other day. It was a pretty easy setup. And I even sent a test text to make sure everything was working well, and it worked fine.
And the cool thing is, with all the reviews and everything we saw online, the battery of this thing lasted people anywhere from 2 weeks to a month, depending on if you had it going the whole time or if you turned it off and back on and how often you were sending out pings. So the battery life on this lasts a long time. This is the perfect thing to be able to send messages, not just to emergency, not just if you're hiking. If, like we said, you are in a situation like North Carolina is, and you just want to tell your friends and family that you're fine, or if you're not fine, we're trapped in our home, send help.
Yeah.
So that is why we're getting it, not just for us, but also for our kids.
Yeah, they don't know it yet unless they're watching this video.
And they're not, I can assure you.
That they're getting these as well, because we realized after talking with our friends and family that live there, that they were cut off from the real world for days from their kids.
Yeah.
That really got us thinking, hey, we definitely are not set to make sure everybody's in good comms. So this is what we're we're coming to you with.
And the downside?
You need a subscription.
Of course.
For everything to work. The cheapest subscription that I found was $14.99.
I mean, the way I look at it is we go to a brewery and get a couple of beers. We've already spent $15. I think for safety, $15 a month is not very expensive.
I chose the bare minimum, just general texting, communicating.
GPS.
Yeah, but like Stacy said, we are going to test it on some trails and just see how it works as we're out hiking.
Now, another good feature is it does have this SOS button on the side, and this will actually send an emergency message to Garmin, and they will have your GPS and they will send emergency people to you if you're in a situation where you can't send texts or ask for help. Now, the button, as you can see, it has a little box. It's very well hidden. You're not going to accidentally hit the SOS and send it out by just like throwing it in your backpack or your purse. So that is a really good feature that I think is great to have.
The reviews on it, from what we read, were absolutely amazing. So that's why we decided to go with that.
To go with it.
If you already have a GPS satellite communicator, let us know in the comments what you're using.
Yeah. So next up with this, we thought it might be wise to get some power to our kids. Anybody who knows us knows that this RV is well equipped with power.
We have 1,200 watts of solar on the roof, and we have 600 amp hours of battle-borne lithium down below in the basement. And we have a generator, so if all else fails, we can crank the generator up and supply us power.
If it's raining for 3 days straight,
right. However, like the folks in North Carolina that are without power and cut off from everywhere, they did not have a means to charge their communication devices, cell phones, laptops, iPads, whatever it was. This right here is going to power all of those, to include the InReach Mini 2, in the event that you've been working it to the bone and you need a little juice on it.
One of the reasons we chose this one is because we found a really good deal online. Phil found it at Lowe's with the solar panel. We chose this upgraded model is because of all of the inputs. Majority of them are USB-C instead of the standard USB, which most people don't even use much anymore. And it also has 3 outlets to plug in computers or whatever. So we really wanted to give the kids a device, so if they needed to charge cell phones and because they didn't have power for a week, or computers, just minor stuff. We're not powering their house here.
No, not with this unit. No.
No, that wasn't the goal. The goal was communication. This will power coffee pots, CPAP. It even said an Instant Pot on there, so it will do higher draws.
The package we got was the Jackery 1000 version 2 power bank, and it came with the 100 watt solar panel right here. So the cool thing about this solar panel is it's light, it's compact, and it's a bifacial solar panel. Not that it has 2 faces, but it has 2 sides. So both sides of this solar panel, when opened and exposed to the sun, will get the sun, it'll pull in the sun from the front, but anything behind it or below it, it'll get that bounce back. So it'll get a reflection, which I think is pretty cool. So it'll help power and restore the Jackery while you're off grid. So you don't have to worry about charging this or plugging it in if you don't have power. You have power right here. As long as you have the sun, it'll slowly bring this thing back to life.
Now, of course, there are many power, I don't know which cases, power banks, power packs that you can get to charge up, especially smaller items. We were looking for something that would take a solar panel and something that was kind of inexpensive, and this one was as powerful as we wanted. This one is 3,000 watts. The peak of it at the peak 3,000 watts, and what, 1,500 output. I'm trying to get my notes here, people.
1,500 watt output, yes.
And the great thing is you can plug in up to 6 items at the same time. So it's not just one USB. You can plug in 6 items to charge all at once.
When we got it, it was at 29% out of the box. We plugged it in, and just over an hour, we were back at 100%.
Yeah.
So
it will take longer, of course, if you're charging it by your solar panel. It'll just depend on the sun. It will take much longer. So just kind of keep that in mind. But if you're checking on this, making sure it's charged in the ready for an emergency, or if you know something's coming, you can pull it out and have it charged and ready before your power goes out. And this is much better than candles all over the house.
Yes, absolutely.
You can plug in a lamp at least.
And without a gas or propane or one of the types of generators that has an exhaust system, this you can keep in the house. This you can keep in, in your camper or whatever it is you have it in. You don't have to worry about that. The other good thing is you can have 2 of these 100 watt panels because it has two plug-ins to have that, or you could have 2 200 watt panels plugged in. You just have to have a special attachment, and it spells all of that out when you're looking to get this model here.
Yeah, these are great options. They are not the only options on the internet. There are, like I said, plenty of portable, foldable solar panels and power boxes. Our point here today is to get you thinking about what to do in emergency, how you can stay connected to your friends and family, and just kind of get you thinking about it, because you know it was a wake-up call for us.
A huge wake-up call, especially when friends of ours said they hadn't been able to talk to their son in 4 days. In an emergency like that, in the situation that that part of the country's in, we would have lost our ever-loving mind wondering what happened, what's going on. And if they would have had something like this where they could have plugged in, charged, communicated, whatever they needed.
Just said, we're okay.
Yes.
If nothing else, we're okay. We'll get, you know, we don't have power, we don't have cell, but we're all fine.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, I would love to know what you guys are using. If you guys have any of these items, please put it in the comments, because if people are researching these, you know, like we said, this isn't the only brand. Put your brand in there, what you love about it. If there's something that you hate about it, let everyone know so they can do their research and decide if one of these will work for them.
And we talked about everything but price. I don't know if we...
I'm sorry.
We totally forgot.
So price of both.
So the Jackery and the panel together, $649, which is really good. I looked all over, even on their own website, was a lot more. Well, not a lot more, but it was more expensive than what we found. And then the Garmin InReach Mini 2.
And case was separate, of course.
Yeah, the Garmin itself was $379 on Amazon. And then, of course, I threw in the case. That was $15 because I want to keep it protected.
Yeah. This model is only about 24 pounds, so it's pretty light. And the panel, I think, is 13.
If that, yeah.
Yeah, a little less than 13. So they're not heavy. They're easy to maneuver.
They are. And as you can see, they take up very little space.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would recommend is just be super careful when you're stowing this, that you don't put things on top that could scratch it or whatnot. But other than that, this is going to be a great setup for the kids, and it's going to be great peace of mind for us.
Yes, absolutely. Because you know we send it for us, not for them.
That's right. They're going to get it, and they didn't even know they wanted it.
All right, guys, that is it for this video. It is short and sweet. Next week, get ready, because we will be sharing the final leg of our adventure with our Winnebago 25-footer, our experiment going smaller, and also show you how I managed to negotiate cooking in that small space.
We didn't go hungry. Let's put it that way.
All right, and then after that, we have all of our time in Europe to share with you. We really want to share, especially Normandy. It meant the world for us to go over there. It was definitely an emotional journey as we made our way through Normandy.
Yeah, we didn't just check that one off the bucket list. We stamped that one as one of the top trips that we've done for ourselves, and you're going to want to hear about that.
Yeah, and hopefully we can actually get back over there, because we feel like we weren't there quite long enough.
There's so much to see and do over there.
Thanks for watching. You guys stay safe out there. We will be thinking of all of our friends on the East Coast that are dealing with the aftermath of this hurricane, as well as another hurricane that's making its way through there. So you guys stay safe, take care, and hopefully one day we'll see you on the road.